the top 10 most expensive cars in 2020. Hello everyone, today in this video we will outline the top 10 most expensive cars in 2020. Most of us are working very hard every day to rectify any of our financial problems with the idea that one day buying one of these expensive cars would not be so difficult. We know that ever since cars were invented, there's always been a distinct difference between the luxurious vehicles and the affordable cars. The competition to own the best and most luxurious car in the world is increasing ever rapidly. In today's video, you will learn the variables and measures that influence the value of a car and what goes into making it the most or least expensive. Without any further delay, let's begin our list of the top 10 most expensive cars in 2020. Number 10 is the Aston Martin DP215 with a price range of $21.45 million. This car was once driven by Phil Hill, the racing legend. It's the 1963 model prototype that was built on the frame of the DB4 GT. David Brown, the British entrepreneur, was the owner and approved its design as well as its manufacturing. The car made headlines as the most expensive auctioned British car that went for $21.45 million in 2019, as it consists of 345 horsepower, 330 torque, and 4.0-liter straight-six engines with a speed of 300 kilometers an hour. Additionally, it was the first ever car that broke the record of 300 kilometers per hour at the Mulsanne Straight at Le Mans in 1963. Phil Hill and Lucien Bianchi had driven it but couldn't finish the race due to some gearbox issues in the car. Brown later decided to shut down the racing department of the Aston model but held out hope with the DP215. Sadly, 2 years after its refitting and rebuilding, the vehicle came across an accident on the M1 in 1965. Number 9 is the Jaguar DType worth $21.8 million. When it was in the design process, the creators solely focused on its potential to win the Le Mans 24-hour race. They first took part in 1954, had won the race in 3 consecutive years, 1955, 1956, and 1957. They competed until 1959. Jaguar cars were limited in the UK and had retired their factory team, offering their D-types to America as the XKSS versions. The car consists of a second seat, side window, a passenger side door, windshield wipers amidst a full wide-frame windshield, and the interior trimmings. In 1955, this model was sold at Sotheby's auction in Monterey, California for $21.8 million, consisting of 250 horsepower, 242 pounds-foot torque, and a 3.4-liter straight-six engine with a speed of 162 kilometers per hour. Number 8 is Duesenberg SSJ worth $22 million, which is the production of Duesenberg Motor Company. Brothers August and Frederick Duesenberg founded the American car manufacturer in Minnesota in 1913. From its founding up to 1937, their vehicles won the Indianapolis 500 race 4 times on the backs of vehicles with 400 horsepower, 425 pounds-foot torque, and a 6.9-liter straight-8 engine amidst a speed of 225 kilometers per hour. Apart from its million-dollar range, the SSJ features a short wheelbase as well as a strong engine owned by Gary Cooper and Clark Gable, who were the 2 leading Hollywood actors of the time. The SSJ belonging to Cooper was sold at auction to a phone bidder for the range of $22 million, making it the most expensive American car as well as the most valuable pre-World War vehicle ever sold. Number 7 is the Aston Martin DBR1 worth $22.5 million. The car driven by racing legends including Sterling Moss, Carroll Shelby, Reg Parnell, and Roy Salvador. It was sold for this price in the South Ibiza auction in Monterey in 2017 and consists of a 254 horsepower engine, 250 pounds-foot torque, and a 3.0-liter straight-six engine with a top speed of 257 kilometers per hour. This vehicle is rare as it's one of the few fitted with the British company Spatch, and the bidding war took just 7 minutes. Only 5 of these models were built and have raced between 1955 to 1959, winning the 24-hour Le Mans among 18 other events in which the Aston Martin celebrated 9 wins. Shortly after winning Le Mans, it was sold at auction in 1959. Number 6 is the Ferrari 275 GT B4 Nart Spider, worth $27.5 million. It was one of the 10 produced of the rare 1967 model that was sold in auction in 2013, consisting of a 300 horsepower 3.3-liter V12 engine with a top speed of 249 kilometers per hour. The late Eddie Smith was the owner. He was the ex-mayor of Lexington, who was an orphan turned millionaire. When his parents died in 1930, he and his siblings spent 7 years in an orphanage. He set up his own business, becoming a true inspiration for the city. His son, Eddie Smith Jr., is the chairman and CEO of Grady White Boats. He sold his father's Ferrari 274 GT B4 Nart Spider at auction and donated the amount to charity to keep his father's name alive through philanthropic endeavors. Number 5 is the Ferrari 290mm, worth $28 million. It's the car driven by Phil Hill, Sterling Moss, Wolfgang von Trips, Peter Collins, and Juan Manuel Fangio. The car was built in 1956 and was the Ferrari factory racer, consisting of 315 horsepower and a 3.5-liter V12 power engine with a top speed of 280 kilometers per hour. The car won the 1956 Mille Miglia, 1956 Swedish Grand Prix, and the 1957 1,000 kilometers Buenos Aires. The car, Ferrari 290mm, is the 5th most expensive car in the year 2020 for its specialties. Number 4 is the Mercedes-Benz W196, worth $29.6 million. It's also known as the Silver Arrow car, consisting of 257 horsepower, 182 pounds-foot torque, and a 2.5-liter inline-8 engine with a top speed of 300 kilometers per hour. It incorporates an ultra-lightweight frame that is just 36 kilos and is the first to use desmodromic valves. As it was a Formula One racing car, there was only 16 versions of it ever built. The 1956 model sold at auction was driven by Juan Manuel Fangio and was the most successful among its other models. It won both seasons of the Formula One Championship against Ferrari, Maserati, Cooper, and Lancia. Between 1954 to 1955, the Mercedes-Benz W196 had won 9 out of 12 races. This model is the only one owned by a private individual, while the other models are either in museums or with the original manufacturer. Number 3 is the Ferrari 335 Sport Scaglietti, worth $35.7 million. It consists of 390 horsepower and a 4.0-liter V12 engine with a top speed of 300 kilometers per hour, was driven by Alfonso de Portago, the Spanish driver. He was actually not going to drive this car, but at the last minute, he was named as the replacement driver for a sick Luigi Musso. This 1957 Ferrari car was on the auction block at the Arterial Motor Cars Retro Mobile auction in 2016 and was sold to an unknown international bidder. This Ferrari is the evolution of the 315S model and became part of the reason why the Mille Miglia was cancelled. The car became victorious in 1958 when Sir Sterling Moss won the Cuba Grand Prix. Number 2 is the Ferrari 250 Testa Rosa, worth $39.8 million. Consisting of 296 horsepower, a 281 pounds-foot torque, and a 3.0-liter V12 engine with a top speed of 259 kilometers per hour. It was introduced at the end of 1957 and was built to respond to the new regulations placed by the FIA at the time, and it ended up being the most successful car ever. This model has won the 24-hour Le Mans, the Targa Floria, and the 12-hour Sebring. This model is the only unrestored model in the world, and you might even find the DNA traces of Phil Hill in the vehicle. Number 1 is the Ferrari 250 GTO, worth $70 million, incorporating a 296 horsepower, 217 pounds-foot torque, and a 3.0-liter V12 engine with a top speed of 280 kilometers per hour. This car has been owned by David McNeil since 2018. He also owns other valuable cars, including the 250 GT Rosa, the 1960 Ferrari 250 GT Berlinetta SWB, and a 275 GTB. This model has only 33 versions consisting of a high V12 engine. In 1962, one could have bought this model for just $18,000 with personal approval of Enzo Ferrari himself. Meanwhile, in March 2020, 25 of these models were sold for over $40 million each. And that's it for our list of the top 10 most expensive cars in 2020. If you have any questions regarding this video or any suggestions, then do not hesitate to comment in the comment section below. Also, please like, comment, share, and subscribe.